Maji, Director General Telecom and Member Technology Department of Telecommunications. Let's put our hands together to welcome him. Very warm welcome, sir. And I would now like to invite on stage Shri Tilak Raj Dua, Chairman IAFI, a warm welcome. Inviting Shri Bharat Bhatia, President IAFI, warm welcome to you, sir. Inviting Shri Ravi Gandhi, President Chief of Public Policy and Regulatory, Reliance Jio, a very warm welcome. Inviting Dr. Stuart Cook, Chair GSA Global Spectrum, Team and Director, Samsung Spectrum and Industry Affairs, a very warm welcome to you, sir. Inviting Brigadier Sanjay Rawal, Signals, Ministry of Defence, a warm welcome to you, sir. Inviting Mr. Masanori Kondo, Secretary General Asia Pacific Telecommunications. A warm welcome to you. Also inviting a guest of honor, Shri Ashutosh Sharma Ji, Director General Telecom and Member Technology Department of Telecommunications. Inviting Shri S.P. Purwar, Co-Chair IAFI. And ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to welcome our eminent dignitaries on the dais for the inaugural session. Once again requesting everybody to take their seats, all mobile phones to be put onto silent mode and the exit doors to be closed, please. Thank you. Namaskar and good morning. Our guest of honor, Shri Ashutosh Sharma, Director General Telecom and Member Technology Department of Telecommunications. Guest of honor, Mr. Masanori Kondo, Secretary General Asia Pacific Telecommunity. Guest of honor, Brigadier Sanjay Rawal, Signals, Ministry of Defence. Eminent dignitaries on the dais, special invitees, senior officials, distinguished delegates, respected members of the press and media, ladies and gentlemen. I today have the proud privilege in welcoming you all to the inaugural session of the second India Spectrum Management Conference on the topic Key Spectrum Challenges, Opportunities and Targets for India's Spectrum Strategy to Support the 5G Rollout, Touching the Digital Divide, Connecting the Unconnected and Providing Impetus to the Local Manufacturing, which is being organized by ITU-APT Foundation of India, IAFI, and the event is managed by Bharat Exhibitions. Our gold partners are Meta Platform Inc., GSA, the Global Mobile Suppliers Association, silver partners Qualcomm and 5G India Forum. The supporting organizations are COAI, DIPA, TEMA, TEMA, the Wi-Fi Alliance, the Wireless World Research Forum, CUTS International, TSDSI, the standards partner, and the media partner is Communications Today. And ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have such eminent dignitaries on the dais with us. I would now request Shri Bharat Bhatia, President IAFI, to kindly do the honors of welcoming our distinguished dignitaries with floral bouquets. We welcome our guest of honor, Shri Ashutosh Sharma, Director General Telecom, with a floral bouquet. We welcome Mr. Masanori Kondo, Secretary General Asia Pacific Telecommunity, APT, with a floral bouquet. A very warm welcome. We welcome Brigadier Sanjay Rawal, Signals, Ministry of Defence, with a floral bouquet. A warm welcome to you, sir. We welcome Dr. Stuart Cook, Chair GSA Global Spectrum, Team and Director Samsung Spectrum and Industry Affairs, with a floral bouquet. Warm welcome to you, sir. We also welcome our distinguished guest, Shri Ravi Gandhi, President Chief of Public Policy and Regulatory, Reliance Jio, with a floral bouquet. Thank you, Mr. Bhatia, for doing the honors. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the proud privilege in inviting Shri Tilak Raj Dua, Chairman IAF, to kindly begin the proceedings of the inaugural session with his welcome address. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome him.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the second India Spectrum Management Conference. I'd like to convey thanks to my colleagues and honorable speakers who are on the dais, and thank you very much for being with us today. Shri Ravi Gandhi, Dr. Stuart Cook, Brigadier Sanjay Rawal, Mr. Masnori Kondo, Secretary General APT, Shri Ashutosh Sharma, DGT, and Mr. Pawar, Mr. Bhatia. And also like to thank the Secretary Telecom and the Chairman DCC. With the last moment, I think couldn't join us because suddenly he's being called by the Finance Minister. So maybe probably towards the end of the day, he may be able to join with us. Notwithstanding that, I'd like to welcome each one of you, foreign delegates, telecom fraternity, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see everyone after a long time and a long lull of a COVID, which is now, I suppose it is behind us now. ITU-APT Foundation is organizing the second Spectrum Management Conference as a two-day conference at this Hotel Le Méridien. IFI is a non-profit, non-political, non-partisan industry foundation which is registered as a society under the Societies Act 1960 and recognized by ITU and APT as well. The IMCA, as we go forward today, will look at how a new spectrum strategy is going to make a positive impact on the key priorities which we are looking at the 5G rollout, tackling the digital divide. Spectrum challenges that we face today, most of it is over a time they are overcome, and this is a continuous process which are working with the government, state governments, everybody to make sure that we do not get hold up on this. The NDCP, that is the National Digital Communication Policy, which was unveiled in 2018, has listed one of these strategies as, if I read, recognizing spectrum as a natural resource for public benefit to achieve India's socio-economic goals, ensure transparency in allocation, and optimize availability and utilization. Thanks to DOT, who has been continuously following it up with a series of initiatives to ensure that the measures listed in the NDCP are implemented fully. Let me just give you a flavor of the recent auction of the spectrum, which concluded in July this year, has by far been the most successful auction with the government, fetching almost, in terms of rupees, is 1.5 trillion rupees. We have seen number of auctions. I think this has been the most successful auction. National Frequency Allocation Plan 2022, which has been recently released, which gives a roadmap for the spectrum and provides updated provision in line with the ITU Radio Regulation 2020. The National Frequency Allocation Plan 2022 of India provides a broad regulatory framework identifying frequency bands which are available for cellular mobile services, Wi-Fi, sound and television broadcasting, radio navigation for aircraft and ships, defense and security communication, disaster relief and emergency communication, satellite communication and satellite broadcasting and amateur services, to name just a few. The successful spectrum management is a long-term effort, and it has a long-term effect. The primary goal of all spectrum awards is to encourage efficient spectrum usage and the significant investment attraction which is necessary to provide high-quality mobile service. If it is done right, mobile operation can feel safe to make investments to improve coverage and speeds. To facilitate the successful deployment of the IMT systems, to make the policy and to make the spectrum available to the market needs to be clearly stated. In order to guarantee that the spectrum policy is aligned with the country's main objective, it is important that telecommunication must figure on country's main agenda, which is evident today itself. In this way, the regulators, the other government institutions will have the necessary support to conduct their activities. Another important aspect that will foster IMT deployment is related to the institution arrangement for policy delivery. The agency responsible for spectrum policy has to pay a close attention to the role of each government agency, national and subnational and international, as well as other market stakeholders. It is also important to avoid responsibility overlap or gaps. In addition, all stakeholders should have a clear understanding of the decision-making process. This could be accomplished through the development of a code of practice for decision-making process. IMT 2020 as a 5G with its enhanced capability has relevance cutting across industry verticals. To take advantage of 5G services for Digital India, the new frequency bands are added in NFAP 2022, where additional spectrum added for IMT in frequency band sub-gigahertz, 70 megahertz additional spectrum is added. In the mid-band, 4 gigahertz and 16,750 megahertz additional spectrum is added in a frequency band above 24 gigahertz. This would certainly enable new additional spectrum for upcoming 5G services. Once again, I think the recently released document on the Telecom Reform 2022, which states the wireless licensing, the importance of spectrum and its management. Now, the main intention is that how do we tackle the digital divide? As connectivity emerges as a key component of economic well-being and cohesion, the faster role of the digital infrastructure becomes imperative. However, there are times when the industry does feel serious challenges, which acts as sometimes a bottleneck toward rollout of the digital infrastructure. Therefore, it is important to identify timely and redress all these issues which are critical. The entire telecom operations and network rollout depends getting timely and affordable approvals from authorities. However, some of the challenges in getting various approvals pertaining to many issues, if I go ahead, access to street furniture, EMF not, etc., etc. Even though India is world's third largest optical fiber market, current levels of rollout fall strikingly short of achieving the targets described in the National Digital Communication Policy 2018. Now, hence the policy are the following which is needed to enable the faster rollout of digital infrastructure is, therefore, ease of doing business, ease of implementation, optimum investment, and sustainable resources. The intention is to connect the unconnected. Connectivity has a profound and far-reaching impact. The catalytic and the enabling role of connectivity for sustainable development is enshrined in the Sustainable Development Goal. ITU certainly makes it possible to classify the offline population, which is based on how they are, where they are, These data, to give you some of the information, reveal 5 divides: income divide, the level of internet use in low income; urban and rural divide, the share of internet users; gender divide, and generation divide. Understanding why people and households do not use the internet is critical for designing effective targeted interventions. The Digital India program, which has been launched by the Honorable Prime Minister, aims to transform the country into a digitally empowered economy and knowledge society. The government has approved the flagship program with 3 important goals. 1, provide quality digital infrastructure to every citizen. 2, provide all public services digital on demand and empower citizens digitally to enable them to participate fully in a rapidly digitizing economy. Now, therefore, there is also need side by side to give an impetus to the manufacturing of the connected devices and the connected infrastructure which is needed. The main objective of the productivity-linked incentive which was launched by the government is to boost domestic production, cut import dependency, create jobs. Scheme has been designed after wide and regular consultation with the industry. Under this scheme, an investor can get incentive for incremental sales up to 20 times. As per the commitment given by many applicants who are there in the bid, they are expected to invest close to $2 billion in the next 4 years' time. Concluding this, the enthusiastic response to the scheme by domestic global manufacturers indicates strong confidence in Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India program, achievement of the scheme objective of creating global champions out of India who have the potential to grow in size. With this, I like to conclude, and once again, I can convey very warm welcome to all my colleagues, the telecom fraternity, and the foreign delegates. Thank you so much.
It's a brief introduction of IAFI and throw some more light on the second India Spectrum Management Conference. So let's put our hands together to welcome Mr. Bhatia.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you and all. Respected Shri Ashutosh Sharma ji, Director General Telecom, also looking after charge of member technology department of telecom at this moment. Mr. Masanori Kondo, Secretary General, Asia Pacific Telecommunity. Brigadier Sanjay Rawal, Brigadier Signals from Ministry of Defense. Dr. Stuart Cook from GSA Global Spectrum Team and also Director of Samsung Spectrum and Industry Affairs. Shri Ravi Gandhi, President, Chief of Public Policy and Regulatory, Reliance Jio, and my colleagues Shri Duaji and Shri Purwarji. Before I start, I have just one simple duty to perform to inform you the sad demise of our close friend and telecom partner Shri Rajesh Kumar Arnold ji, and may I request everybody to kindly stand for 1 minute in silence for Shri Arnold. Thank you very much. Actually, Dr. Arnold was member of Telecom Regulatory Authority, Secretary of Telecom Regulatory Authority, and before that, I think to just quickly introduce ITU-APT Foundation of India, and thanks to Duaji for starting some introduction. So if I could move the slide to the next slide, please. Yeah, thank you very much. As Duaji mentioned, ours is a registered, non-profit, non-political registered society. It's based in India. We are a non-partisan foundation, and we do not identify ourselves with any industry sector or group. We support all telecom and IT sectors such as 4G, 5G, GSO, non-GSO satellites, Wi-Fi, broadcasting, aviation, defense, whatever, so all of us. We are recognized by the ITU as an international regional organization, and we have been granted the sector membership of all the three sectors, ITU-T, ITU-D, and ITU-R. And we are working for the last 20 years with the prime objective of bringing more participation into the ITU and APT activities, trying to promote more and more contributions to all of these bodies. Next. Just for the last 2 years, very quickly, we became an affiliate member of APT. Thank you, Kando-san. And in this short period, we have organized about 16, almost every month we have organized one event, all on very related topics. We have 142 members as of date, both corporates and individuals. We have sent a IAFI delegation to over 30 ITU meetings and some APT meetings. I think just last 1.5 years, we have submitted about 42 contributions from IAFI to ITU-R on various topics, including 4G, 5G, vision for 6G, including multimedia, including cellular V2X, and everything. We submitted 33 contributions to the APT in this short period, both to APT Wireless Group and to other groups. We have submitted 6 contributions to various DOT preparatory process for WRC 23. We are well covered by media in over 30 media stories in this period. We have redesigned and expanded our website. And of course, we have submitted 20 responses to the TRI and DOT during this period. Next. So we are mainly active in ITU-R, in Working Party 5D, Working Party 5A, BC, and Working Party 4A, BC. These parties deal with basically mobile services, cellular services, and satellite services. In the ITU-T, we are very active. We actively participated in WTSA, as well as in the disaster management activities in ITU-T, and now we have many more members who are adding into IoT, into next generation networks, etc. in ITU-T. In ITU-D also, we have increased our activities. We attended the WTDC, which was the conference, and currently I am leading the India's work in the area of study group 1 of ITU-D, and hopefully we will have more and more contribution into the ITU-D as well. In the APT, we are very actively involved in the AWG, as well as the APG committee for WRC, STEP, which is standardization forum in the APT, and Kondo-san will talk a little bit more about that. Policy forum, 1 minute. Policy forum, and also in the Secretariat General, we actively participated in the Plenipotentiary Conference and the recent elections where Madam Revati was elected as the member of the Radio Regulatory Board, and India was elected as the council. Next. This is some of the media stories about what we have been doing. We have a lot of work in the area of 6G, a lot of work in the area of cellular, on the spectrum prices, and everything. Next. And this is our new and expanded website. Welcome to see. It's itu-apt.org. Next. I just want to quickly introduce this conference. It's a 2-day conference. On the first day, we will have 5 sessions, starting with this setting the scene, then going on to the WRC 23 challenges and preparatory process. The next session immediately after lunch is going to be spectrum roadmap for the future, and I think we have a very good number of speakers in that session. That will be followed by the panel discussion. And the last session of the day, which is very, very important, would be the 6G strategy, both on the spectrum and the vision. Next. Then we have a full day tomorrow, 4 sessions, again starting with the same, setting the scene. We will have the second session on the private networks, which is innovation in enterprise and industries, how captive and non-captive 4G, 5G networks are taking off. Followed by 6 GHz, how do we maximize the socio-economic benefits of the 6 GHz band? And then the last would be again on how India could be part of the 6G R&D roadmap, how we can translate India's 6G vision into a doable R&D roadmap. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the 2-day conference in summary, and hope you enjoy today and tomorrow. Thank you very much.
IFI and ISMC 22. And ladies and gentlemen, moving on, now we have the next presentation is on spectrum strategy to accelerate 5G rollout. For that, I would like to invite our eminent guest, Shri Ravi Gandhi, President Chief of Public Policy and Regulatory, Reliance Jio. Mr. Ravi Gandhi, with a demonstrated career history in the telecommunications industry, is skilled in business management, strategic planning, cross-functional team leadership, and management. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Mr. Ravi Gandhi for his presentation on spectrum strategy to accelerate the 5G rollout.
To address this August gathering, which consists of all spectrum experts, I find myself I think the least knowledgeable person on spectrum here. When we talk about spectrum, and the topic which probably has been given to me is spectrum strategy to accelerate 5G rollout. So this topic need to be slightly changed from accelerate the 5G rollout. Instead of that, it should be accelerate effective 5G adoption. Because rollout anyway would happen, the operators will do it. They will put the towers, they will put BTSs, fiber, connect, and all those things. How do we have effective 5G adoption by everyone? So, since the time the telecom network started evolving, there used to be a race to catch customers with wires. And we were doing coverage with the help of wires and trying to reach to every customer. Then came the era of 2G, where we started talking about coverage. So 1C was there, and from 1C we actually moved to 2C of the spectrum. So the second element which came was the capacity. So how do we meet the capacity in addition to the coverage, so that the effective services are provided to the consumers? And with 4G, Jio has demonstrated that how the capacity is created. Today, Jio carries 10% of the world's mobile traffic. In one single network, we are catering almost 45 crore customers with, on the average, around 20 GB per customer per month, kind of a traffic. So that's the kind of capacity which had been created in 4G network. So this was the second dimension which came in when 4G came. So we used to talk about 2 C's of spectrum. So coverage and capacity. With 5G, there is third dimension, third C is getting added up, which is convergence. So it is not about now mobile services. It is not about creating a terrestrial network. It is not about having an access network. So the access and backhaul have merged. Even the standards, the 3GPP standards and other standards have merged that. We have now integrated access and backhaul. So there is absolutely no difference between access or backhaul. We don't know what to call access, what to call backhaul. So that's one level of convergence which has happened. The second level of convergence which has happened is convergence between communication and broadcasting. So what is communication and what is broadcasting? Probably after a few years, we will not have even the difference between the two. All broadcasting would be carried over the communication channels. So today also with OTT platforms, majority of the broadcasting content is viewed on telecommunication network. So there is no difference between now a broadcasting network and a telecommunication network. So both are same, both have converged. The third convergence which is happening is between mobile and fixed line. So with FWP or FWT with fixed wireless terminal put outside your window and then whole of your house connected on Wi-Fi internally. So whether it's a mobile network or whether it's a fixed line network, that convergence has happened and will happen. With 5G, especially we using millimeter wave, all the networks would be the hybrid network, which would be fully converged fixed mobile network. And the fourth convergence, which is going to happen, we'll see with the old BTS, now we call E node B and G node B, flying in the sky in the form of satellite or NTN networks. So the days are not ahead when we'll see the both networks getting fully converged. At the standards level, at the specification levels, these networks have already been converged. In release 17 or release 18, we will have 5G over satellite, 5G through satellite, G node B flying in the sky, or the bent pipe, etc. Gone are those days. So we'll have 5G in the sky, 5G through satellite, through NTN networks, 5G through terrestrial network. Consumer would move from one place to the other place without realizing whether he is being served from a terrestrial network or being served from a satellite network or is being served from a wireline fixed network when he enters into the house with the same number, with the same call, with the same session. He'll experience all three networks. So that's the level of convergence which is happening. So what does this require? How will this convergence happen? So at technology level, this convergence has already happened. And it's in few years, all of us are, I think, more educated and more knowledgeable than me, know that at the technology level, it's happened, it's done. At the regulation level, this has to happen. How the spectrum is allocated, how the spectrum is assigned, how the spectrum is used. I think that's probably in next 2 days. I hope that most of us would be debating around it, that do we still need to continue with the artificial barriers? Those barriers were actually genuine barriers, but now that boundary has blurred. Do we still need to continue with the barrier called an access spectrum and a backhaul spectrum? Do we still need to continue with the barrier called a satellite spectrum and a terrestrial spectrum? Or should the spectrum be used in a flexible manner? So you allocate to a company who wants to build the network. Let them build the network the way they want. Let them self-coordinate. So that's the kind of, I think, need which arises now. This is all coming from consumer perspective, outside-in perspective, not how we used to regulate the spectrum, how we used to allocate the spectrum, how consumer want to see the services, how the networks would be built to serve those customers, to provide the services which they want. So if we see from outside, if we move from consumer towards operator and then to manufacturer and then to regulator, we'll see that there is a convergence which has happened and convergence which is required, and the spectrum also need to be assigned, regulation also need to be framed in such a way that the spectrum can actually provide or cater to the converged networks without being actually having the shackles of the regulatory barriers in the form of access, backhaul, etc., etc. One more thing which, now coming back to the topic which was given to me on the rollout or effective 5G adoption. So this actually is also related to the second C which I talked about, capacity. So now operators have been allocated approximately 300 megahertz of 350, 360 megahertz of spectrum in C-band, which is the anchor band for 5G, and some spectrum in millimeter wave, which would be the capacity band. But how much it's required? India has a population density of around 490 people per square kilometer, approximately 500 people per square kilometer, as compared to majority of the country, like US would have 50 people per square kilometer, Russia would have only 5-10 people per square kilometer. So there is huge difference in the capacity requirement. You can't have a cell size with infinite cell radius to have the coverage with one cell. You can't have infinite number of cells installed at any place to create infinite capacity, because then cells starts interfering with each other. So there has to be a mixture, because all this is physics, so we can't preach anybody each other. So the physics actually tells that if you have to have that much of capacity, how much spectrum is required at every square kilometer. So earlier the demand used to be, a customer was using 1 GB or 100 MB in a cell in a month. Now they are using 20 GB in a cell where they, in a month, with say an average speed of 5 to 10 Mbps on 4G. Once we start moving those customers to 500 Mbps or 1 Gbps intended, because we should, in 5G we have to aim that every customer should get 1 Gbps. When we move the customers to that kind of a speed, the capacity requirement would be 20 to 50 fold than what today we have. So can we actually meet the capacity with 100 megahertz of spectrum in C-band? The answer would be no. That operators would, the moment you roll out, you will start seeing when the handsets moves to 5G, when every customer starts using it, use cases starts kicking in, we will start seeing the networks getting congested. And then the more and more spectrum would be required. So where the next anchor spectrum will come from, I think from the first and the most obvious band which becomes is 3.7 to 4.2, which is being used for teleport services by satellite operators. The other is from 5.9 to 7.1, which typically we call 6 gigahertz. Those are the two bands which have to be, I think, probably immediately vacated for IMT or for 5G. And if those are not done, probably we'll see 5G running like 4G. Because consumers will, who would be the loser? Loser would be consumers, because they will have 5G handset without the sufficient capacity which they require. And all that cannot be met with the higher capacity bands, because there the mobility, full mobility will not be there, capacity may not be there. Of course, for capacity purpose, a lot has to be offloaded to millimeter band, where all the bands which have been harmonized for the IMT, be it 26 gigahertz band, or it is the bands which are going to be like 28 gigahertz band, 37 to 42, and then 40, 47, 52 band, etc. All these need to be, I think, aligned. That's I don't want to take away the agenda in the next session, which is on the roadmap, but that actually the roadmap has to cover that to meet the capacity which would be required for India. India is a special case. It's unlike many other countries, because our capacity requirement is 10 times more than the most advanced country in the world. So keeping that in mind, our spectrum requirement would also be 10 times more than the most advanced country in the world. So keeping that in mind, I think we need to have a different approach and get more and more spectrum vacated and align it for IMT, so that operators, the telecom operators, whether these are access operators or ISPs or any other operator, they can plan their network, they can plan their business accordingly. Thank you. That's the point I wanted to cover.
Much indeed, sir, for that knowledgeable address we had from you. And now moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we have our eminent speaker with us, Dr. Stuart Cook, who is Chair, GSA Global Spectrum Team and Director, Samsung Spectrum and Industry Affairs. And previously, he has held a variety of roles, including the UK government, Nokia 4G planner and startup Flareon Technologies, Qualcomm, and the wireless energy harvesting startup Drayson Technologies. And today he's going to address on the global preparatory activities for WRC 23. So let's once again put our hands together to welcome Dr. Cook for his address.
This morning. You know, I was here 3 years ago, and at the time, as GSA, we were advocating that spectrum be made available to enable 5G to be deployed from the low, the mid, and the high bands. to realize that full 5G vision, that ITU-APT vision. And it's just remarkable, amazing that we have now that licensing in India. I used to be part of the UK government auction team, and I can tell you that auctioning, licensing spectrum from low, mid and high bands at the same time is quite a feat of regulatory engineering. So on behalf of the GSA, thank you and congratulations to all that were involved in that. Next slide, please. Next slide. And so, now we have the spectrum awarded in that first phase, that initial deployment phase. Many administrations around the world are now beginning to think about the future. And so we have that initial deployment phase, but now we're beginning to have discussions around the world about the expansion phase for 5G. Many countries thinking about the year 2025, around there onwards, for expansion of 5G. And then in the very longer term, research and planning is already underway for 6G from around the year 2030 onwards. So spectrum takes a long time to get the regulations in place and put that into the market. So now is the time to begin to talk about the expansion spectrum, that second phase, but also the longer term planning for 6G from 2030 onwards. And so, as the previous speaker mentioned, the mid-band spectrum in terms of expansion is a big topic globally. There are a number of frequency bands that administrations are beginning to think about globally and nationally on how can they make mid-band spectrum available, which frequency bands should be made available to enable that ongoing growth and to support that IMT vision. The ITU vision all those years ago was about connecting people globally, wherever they are, with a phone. And from a 3GPP IMT perspective, I think we can claim that we've succeeded a long way down that vision in terms of a technology that's successful, but also commercially successful. So 10 billion 3GPP active subscriptions globally. And if you look at the data growth, it's quite remarkable. So I look forward to a couple of days of discussions, the World Radio Conference in 2023, a lot of focus there around mid-band spectrum to support that ongoing growth, that expansion phase, but also then the longer term, should we have an agenda item on the WRC 27 to support 6G and IMT, and what part should India play in those discussions? So lots to discuss over the next 2 days. On behalf of the GSA, thank you very much for inviting us.
In inviting our guest of honor, Brigadier Sanjay Rawal, who belongs to the Corps of Signals, Ministry of Defense, and today he's going to speak about the spectrum needs of the defense services. So let's put our hands together to welcome our guest of honor.
Good morning to everyone. And at the outset, special thanks to ITU-APT for welcoming us and giving us this opportunity to speak on this important topic. And I'm privileged to have such wonderful speakers on the dais, which is there. So what I want to put across is the security concerns and how important spectrum is for the defense forces and what needs to be kept in mind as we roll out what we've been hearing about the NDCP, the NFAP 22, and what Mr. Gandhi highlighted, the important things of the capacity in our country, where we are expecting so much for each and every user. And I fully support what Mr. Gandhi highlighted. Can we support the expectation of a customer? Having kept this in mind, how do I go ahead with this? Next slide is. ये आगे के लिए? Okay. Yeah, this particular book, India's Battlefield, it's been released recently from Kurukshetra to Balakot. Colonel Ajay Singh has put in 28 years in defense forces. Now, the first Kurukshetra, the battle of Mahabharata was fought. And when Dhritarashtra wanted to see how the battle was getting unfolded, he called a gentleman to describe how the battle was fought. And I happened to be named after this gentleman. The importance of spectrum and telecommunication all across. Three important things. As we are going ahead from 5G optimization, going to 6G, see this date, 1757, 1857, 1957, and 2057. We are in 2022. I am looking at 25 years ahead. 1757, the Battle of Palasi. It changed India's history. 1857, the Indian Rebellion. There was a marked change. 1947, we became independent, and 1948, this is Srinagar. 1961, liberation of Goa. 1962, 1971, 1986, 87, 99, 2002. And we have been having, from the time I've got commissioned, we have had difficult times in many of the places. This is a timeline of terror. All of us are now well abreast. Galwan Valley, Chumar, Doklam, these are known to everyone. As the war fighting and the geopolitical situation in our country has got its own nuances, the telecommunication has improved. This age-old communication, how it was there. Mr. Gandhi just mentioned it in passing. The issue is, in the First World War, we started getting the HF communication, 30 megahertz. And reaching 30 was a change in the whole technology. The war fighting changed. War fighting changed with that. The Enigma machine was a story by itself. And this gentleman, with a beautiful movie which has come, and he is supposed to be the guy who's named what is an intelligent machine. When the first EM wave was actually demonstrated. And this is how the battlefield is going to unfold. It's very important to understand war fighting is getting changed. We reached from 30 megahertz, that HF communication I was mentioning, we went from 30 to 100. The complete combat net radio was there. Second World War, we fought in this combat net radio up to these things. When I got commissioned, we went into the first radio relay, 225 megahertz. We used to have 6 speech, 9 telegraph, and 1 data channel, and that 1 data channel was of 2 kbps. That was the thing in 86. The requirement is up, and this is what is important. The basic thing has not got changed. This basic loop has not got changed. And the desire is to have faster and faster, faster and faster, faster and faster. So, from a 2 kbps, we have gone up to 100 mbps at battlefield situation, in a tactical situation. That's less. That's less. And as the expectation out is happening in a different world, we are changing the war fighting accordingly. We have changed. So you don't find this, we find this. each and every part of this particular soldier has got a lot of technology behind it. And every part I go entails a lot of spectrum coming into this picture. So how do we fit in to enable this war fighting? And why I'm saying this, security and war fighting are important things for the progress of the country. It cannot be wished away. It cannot be wished away. This is what is happening in Ukraine with all the kind of peace talks which were there. Zero Dark 30, a capture of the terrorist, and we are in this particular place, the topic of discussion for today. And each and every issue of this particular slide are important issues. So, where do we fit in as defense forces? I cover 4 things. What are the emerging military applications of electromagnetic spectrum for the future warfare? That's the first thing. Second, I was saying, how is electromagnetic spectrum changing the complete war fighting? It's a new domain of war fighting. Third important issue is, how do we balance the military requirements and the future economic needs of the country? We cannot wish it away. It is an important thing. How do we balance both the things? And the last I would just cover was the industry and the military collaboration which is there. So in the emerging military situations of the electromagnetic spectrum in the future warfare, EMS is the enabling factor. We have the command and control, we have the surveillance systems, we have the reconnaissance systems, we have the navigation systems, we have the guidance systems. Everywhere is the EMS which is coordinating the whole things. So in a fast-paced this battlefield, we need to strengthen the spectrum warfare capabilities by having an exhaustive strategy. It cannot be wished away that, okay, defense concerns are not taken care of. So what? So the 5G has got this immense potential for multiple military applications, and we need to be part of this national strategy where, as 5G is rolling out and as it was told, accelerating, and how do we optimize this critical emerging technology, it should enable the modernization of the armed forces. First point. Next, the electromagnetic spectrum, how has it become a new domain of warfare? Now, there is something called electromagnetic spectrum superiority. This is a new target for a global competition. As a country to grow, we cannot wish it away. We require this capability, and the nation's security is exposed due to the undue and significant risks. So how is electromagnetic spectrum important? It's an invisible, essential physical foundation of every battlefield and unifies all warfighting domains, be the land, sea, air, space, or the cyberspace. And it is pertinent that for achieving the information dominance and denying adversary use of electromagnetic spectrum, it is necessary to seize the strategic initiative. That's very important. So the stakeholders, be it the telecom service providers, be it the regulators, be it the policymakers, be it the manufacturers, be it us, the users in the defense forces, and as part of the nation, all across, we need to see how spectrum is going to be part of this national security in the national defense strategy. It's important. Third important issue, which I would like to cover, and it's a very important issue, is this balancing the future economic and security needs of India. We don't deny the requirement of spectrum, and as was covered initially, for the economic growth of the country, spectrum is an essential engine. There's no debate on this. But we need to understand, it provides armed forces ability to dominate battlefield in event of a conflict. And why I covered those initial 8 to 9 slides, we are living in a situation we cannot wish it away. We cannot wish it away. So ongoing technological developments have paved way for a variety of spectrum applications. And as the applications are growing, it has led to this greater demand for more and more spectrum. So we need to analyze the key factors required for balancing the economic as well as the security needs. having seen the necessity of balancing the future economic and the security needs, the importance of the industry and military collaboration, it is an established fact, and as a country we are doing good, and the importance of partnerships with industry, academia, for developing the cutting edge technologies and fulfill service modernization is being given due importance right at the Ministry of Defense level and at all service headquarters through various indigenous developments. And we need to understand the nuances for developing it for the defense forces. So for this, necessary structures, organizations, roadmaps, fulfill strategy to structure the deliverables and our capacity building in doing so. At the end, a few recommendations, and I'm thankful once again to ITU-APT for giving us this opportunity. We just would like to highlight defense forces have to be part of the policy making. Where the policy is making, as we are working on the extension of 5G, we are seeing issues as the networks roll out in J&K, we have our network working, so how do we balance out? As we go into 6G, how the defense concerns are taken care of. This is point one. Second is we spread all across our northern borders and western borders. It's important for us to develop the communication infrastructure all along this. And in June, I had been there. It's a matter of pride for me, places where it was an achievement for me when I was commanding the unit in 2004 of extending 1 2 MB, 1 E1. Now I'm having towers providing backward connectivity back to the complete national grid. It's a feeling of pride. Third important thing which we can work together is our military stations like what we have in Mao. These are places, center of excellences for the military technology. These military stations can be utilized for rollout of the grid. These can be utilized there. And last important point, which I would like to put across for consideration for everyone is, yes, requirements of spectrum are required by everyone. Please ensure the weapon system, the weapon devices which are working, they are also catered for as part of the whole thing. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor, Mr. Masanori Kondo, is Secretary General Asia Pacific Telecommunicative, and prior to joining APT, he had been working at the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications, Japan, for more than 25 years, and is also a visiting scholar at the Harvard University in the United States. And today he's going to talk about the role and activities of APT in the spectrum issues in Asia-Pacific region and in WRC 23 preparations. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Masanori Kondo.
Our sincere appreciation to IAFI, Chairman Mr. Dua, and the President Bibi, Mr. Bhatia, as well as Secretary General Dr. Gupta, who have, I know them quite a long time. And also I would like to congratulate India for being elected for ITU Council members, as well as Madam Revati, to be elected as a member of Radio Regulation Board with the top vote at the ITU Plenipotentiary Conference in Romania. So this is the first time to visit India in 10 years. So as the introduction, I used to work at the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communication in Japan, and at that time there I think still is a bilateral meeting between India and Japan, and I used to come to India occasionally. So I'm very glad to be able to visit India, because the last 10 years I repeatedly watched a Bollywood movie, especially Three Idiots, which is my favorite movie. So I'm very glad to be in India now. So today, actually, I just see the program, which this session is supposed to be 11 by 11:30. And I prepared 20 minutes presentation. Since I will have another presentation tomorrow, I will try to brief as much as possible and to transfer some of the slides to tomorrow's presentation. So first, let me explain very briefly about APT. APT headquarters locates in Bangkok, Thailand. So I come from Bangkok, Thailand. And we have 38 member countries with around 140 so-called affiliate members from like ICT industry. So we have a strategic plan, which I will explain tomorrow. So I will skip it. And today's presentation, I will specifically focus on spectrum management like activities of ITU. So in connection to our strategic plan, there are 2 points which has some relationship with spectrum management. So one is connectivity, which is one of the 5 pillars of a strategic plan, and the other one is innovation. So accordingly, we have action plan under these pillars of a strategic plan. So these are maybe too detailed. So if you are very interested in, please visit the APT website, which explain in detail what we are doing. So with regard to spectrum management, or in the field of spectrum management, basically we have 5 activities or 5 items as an action. First and foremost, we have APT Conference Preparatory Group for WRCs, so-called APGs, to which we have many participants. If it is a physical meeting, we have usually more than 500 participants, and if it is a hybrid, we have 700 or 800 participants. So this is the biggest APT meeting. Then we have so-called AWG, APT Virus Group, which BB briefly introduced. And also we have APT Frequency Information System in-house, to which our members, we have 38 members in Asia and Pacific region, and we already asked some of our administrations to input or contribute their information into this AFIS system, so that in the future, all APT members can share information about the spectrum allocation in each country, so that the harmonization activities or efforts can be made more smoothly. And fourth, we have APT training programs, and APT training programs covers not only, of course, spectrum management things, but also many like a standardization or the development and like a disaster management or cybersecurity things. But in the field of spectrum management, every year we have 3 to 5 training courses in spectrum management, to which some of Indian institutions collaborate with us, with APT. In addition, we also organize the APT symposiums on spectrum management, as well as APT, so-called APT web dialogue on spectrum management. So I will try to briefly introduce each from these 5 points, but as I said, I will try to skip it as much as possible. Then with regard to APG, we have a very prominent chairman who will introduce the activities of APG, I think, in this afternoon. So I will skip it, and Dr. V is our chair and chairman, and I think he will kindly introduce what APG is doing. Then with regard to another second point, AWG, we have many activities as wireless or radio communication activities are very attractive for both policymakers or regulators and industry or academia. So we reconfigured our structure of AWG last year, 2021, on which we started to coordinate and discuss the related issues. Under this new structure, namely working group, we have 4 working groups now, and also there are several sub-working groups as well as task groups. So every time we have a new trend or services or technologies, sometimes AWG tries to coordinate how to formulate their position as an APT, as well as to address the issues to be shared among those stakeholders of policymakers, regulators, and industry. Then let's come to the AFIS, which is, as I said, frequency information system in-house of APT. APT, with the collaboration of European countries, CEPT, we launched our AFIS system under AWG. So AWG actually fosters this AFIS system. Then another activity is APT Web Dialogue, the Web Dialogue series on spectrum management. So this is a very light touch activities. It's not decision making, but rather information or experience sharing. And this is very attractive and drew many attention from our members as well as in the public as a whole. So this year, in 2022, we organized these activities, as you see in the slide. So specifically, I would like to emphasize that we collaborate with even with non-APT members. But we are always welcome and open to collaborate with anyone. So this year, we collaborated with ICAO, or DSA, as well as Inmarsat or Meta. Sometimes, as you see, we collaborate not only organization or association, but also with specific companies, because it's not a decision-making process, but rather information sharing, as I said. So if you, as a, let's say, company or industry, have some idea or new technology or services which you want to share with APT members or APT participants, please contact to us and let's organize our APT Web Dialogue together with you. So next activity is training program. Training is one of the key activities of APT because in this region, Asia-Pacific region, of course, we have diverse member countries from big to small or isolated, landlocked to the developed to less developed countries. So training course has many activities and a good amount of interest and request from our members. So in the field of spectrum management, we organize these activities such as spectrum management and monitoring in India. This was hosted in India. So as you see in the slide, other training courses were hosted by sometimes Thailand or Japan. And we always try to seek any possible potential partners to organize these training courses. For the time being, in India, we have 4 training institutions who we collaborate with in order to implement our training courses. So with this, I would conclude my first presentation, and please wait my second presentation tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for that insightful presentation we had from you. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to have with us as our guest of honor, Shri Ashutosh Sharma ji. He is Director General Telecom, DGT and Member Technology, Department of Telecommunications, is an ITS of 1984 batch, and today he is going to present on accelerating India's spectrum strategy to support the 5G expansion. So let's put our hands together to welcome our guest of honor, Shri Ashutosh Sharma.
तो थैंक यू वेरी मच। मेरा आप सबको सादर नमस्कार। ऑनरेबल गेस्ट, रिप्रेजेंटेटिव फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स, डिस्टिंग्विश्ड members from telecom industry, academia, learned colleagues friends, ladies and gentlemen. Well, on behalf of Secretary Telecom, I would like to first of all convey my thanks to ITU-APT for allowing us to participate and hosting such a nice conference, today's conference. I am very excited and pleased to be here in this conference. As you all appreciate, that spectrum is a most valuable natural resource. You may call it as an asset also. It is not only valuable, it's not only valuable, but it's an asset also. In fact, I believe that it is one of the most precious gift of God. As Mr. Sanjay ji told that it was even used during the time of Mahabharata. So Department of Telecom, with the making available new frequency band in mid-band and millimeter wave band to the telecom industry, thus has opened new era in the telecommunication. With the successful launch of 5G services in India by our Honorable Prime Minister, government is putting all out efforts to enable the adoption of 5G use cases across various sectors, be it industry, agriculture, education, medicine, socio-economic growth. In fact, it is a gateway to digitization in industry and digital economy. It is estimated that the Indian economy can have an economic benefit of $1 trillion by 2035. The spectrum is hero behind all this. While Indian administration is committed to the following: spectrum availability and allocation among various radio services with reasonable certainty to bridge adoption lag and maximizing socio-economic benefits, providing high-speed bandwidth, broadband band through various access technologies to address digital divide, deploy spectrum-efficient technologies by all stakeholders, including government, TSPs, entrepreneurs, and whatnot. Encourage spectrum sharing and optimal coexistence among various radio services, providing outline for national studies related to radio frequency spectrum, position India as hub of wireless technology, R&D and manufacturing, attract investment in exploiting spectrum. Be flexible and dynamic to incorporate new kinds of radio services in the existing band and see allocation of bands to prioritize relevant radio services. Also, as highlighted by Mr. Rawat, address the security concerns, national security concerns, as well as data security concerns of the society from the outside country. So we are also committed to address those issues. The policy objective on spectrum management as per National Digital Communication Policy NDCP 2013 to 2018 is recognizing spectrum as a key natural resource for public benefit to achieve India's socio-economic goals, ensure transparency in allocation, and optimize availability and utilization. I am not going into much detail of the intricacies of various spectrum bands, but we are committed to have the best utilization of spectrum. The 5th generation 5G wireless communication has been seen as a gateway to digitization in industry. As Mr. Gandhi highlighted, the importance of 6 gigahertz band making available. With the start of implementation of 5G technology, telecom community in various parts of the world has started to actively look at emerging new use cases, future technologies to support such use cases and requirement for 6G. A technology innovation group on 6G has been constituted to bring our vision, mission, goal, and roadmap for India in 6G space. DOT is taking a constructive and collaborative approach involving industry, TSP, academia, research institutes, defense, etc., security agencies to identify the areas of work and build synergy to innovate, create IPRs, standardization, contribute to the global standards, create specifications, technical regulations, run pilot projects, manufacture, test, and supply at a global scale to enable new technologies beyond 5G through inviting new radio technologies and development of new regulations. I am quite sure, and I believe that this 2 days conference will really yield a wonderful results, and certainly it will address not only the issues pertaining to spectrum and the best use of spectrum, but also look at the effective and secure utilization of spectrum, which thus would enable not only economical growth of the country, but also social reforms and social growth. In this context, I would just like to add one more line to Mr. Rawat's, as Mr. Rawat said that during Mahabharata, Sanjay could see from a distance using the spectrum. Maybe technology was different, but it was a technology. And thus, Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So I also feel that with the advent of this technology, we should also look at the social challenges which are being faced with the new technologies, and the use of that be done for a proper and healthy use so that we ultimately become happy. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, I would now request Shri Tilak Raj Dua, Chairman IAFI, to kindly present. I would request Shri Tilak Raj Dua, Chairman IAFI, to kindly do the honors of presenting a token of gratitude, a small memento to all our dignitaries. We begin with our guest of honor, Shri Ashutosh Sharma. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for sparing your valuable time and gracing this occasion. We present to our guest of honor, Mr. Masanori Kondo. Thank you, sir, for being here with us today. We present to our guest of honor, Brigadier Sanjay Raval. Thank you very much indeed, Brigadier, for being here with us. We present to our eminent dignitary, Dr. Stuart Cook. Thank you once again, sir, for sparing your time and gracing this occasion. And we also honor Shri Ravi Gandhi. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Dua, for doing the honors. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the proud privilege in requesting Shri S.P. Purvar, Co-Chair IAFI, to kindly say a few words of thanks.
Mr. Ashutosh Sharma, Member Technology, DOT, Telecom Commission, Chief Guest, His Excellency Kondo-san, Secretary General APT, Mr. Stuart Cook, Brigadier Sanjay Raval, Mr. Ravi Gandhi, our colleague Mr. T.R. Dua and Bharat Bhatia, and each member of the audience. First, I am grateful to the Foundation for giving me this opportunity to be here on this special occasion, the second India Spectrum Management Conference. At this juncture, significance of such a conference can't be overstressed. We have already heard the illustrious speakers dealing with various aspects of spectrum management in this first session. We have 8 more sessions to go, and I think audience will be benefited by various presentations of the illustrious speakers. Let me now, on behalf of IFI and on my own, express our grateful thanks to Mr. Kondo-san, Secretary General APT, for his significant presentation on what APT has been doing for development of communication in Asia-Pacific region, and also dealing with the spectrum issues to support the growth and management of 5G. Chief guest, Mr. Ashutosh Sharma, we are deeply grateful to you, who has delivered a thoughtful address on India's spectrum strategy to support 5G expansion. It is an insider's view of government plans for growth of 5G in India. My special gratitude to Mr. Stuart Cook, a leading light of spectrum world and chairman GSA Global Spectrum Team, for his thoughts on 5G expansion and rollout and global preparatory activities for WRC 23. We are also thankful to Mr. Ravi Gandhi and compliment him for sharing with us Jio's pioneering thoughts on spectrum strategy to push up 5G rollout, and he also emphasized the regulatory system way behind the technology. Next, I am thankful to Mr. Brigadier Sanjay Raval for emphasizing the importance of need of efficient communication resources for defense battlefields and gave certain recommendations which I feel would be dealt with by the DOT. I would now compliment Mr. Bharat Bhatia, President of the Foundation, for his vivid introduction of the IAFI. In fact, the institution has grown from strength to strength under his stewardship. The institution, which was gasping for breath 6 years before, has become a very robust organization as of today. It has got a fresh lease of life upon Bharat taking its reins, and it was nurtured by him with ceaseless efforts, and now it's a force reckoned with, and Foundation's heartfelt gratitude to him for all what he is doing. In fact, today's conference is just a result of his mission and vision. I am personally, and we are from the Foundation, immensely grateful to our chairman, Mr. T.R. Dua, for guiding the destiny of the Foundation during its thick and thin. He has been supporting its revival during troubled times. He has been associated with the IFI since its inception. I also compliment him for his welcome of guests and the audience, stressing the connecting the unconnected. The Foundation management and I are highly thankful to the sponsors, particularly Meta, GSA, Qualcomm, and 5G India Forum. all the supporting organizations in standard and media partners, without whose contribution and cooperation the conference would have remained only in thoughts. It is a vibrant reality as we are seeing today owing to their support. Last but most important, our deepest gratitude is due to the audience, each member of the audience who have dared to challenge the morning chill to be here and encourage the speakers to come out with their best foot forward. Without your participation, the conference couldn't be a success. Thanksgiving will not be complete without expressing our gratitude to the staff and management of the IEFI for toiling hard for months to prepare and provide the shape of the conference as we see it today. I am further grateful to each and every person who has contributed for organizing this event. Thanks to one and all.